This is Duke University.
If I look at the risks for the natural resources sector, whether it's mining or oil and gas, they're now equally distributed between those technical risks, those below ground risks associated with the resource and the ability to technically extract the resource and process it for the purpose of the end markets, and those new and emerging, in some cases, more difficult above ground risks would have to do with society's acceptance of mining or resource extraction, the effects that mining and resource extraction has on the health and safety of employees, on communities, on the quality of the water, ultimately on carbon issues from a global perspective, on biodiversity, and the broader environmental agenda. I think one of the bigger challenges that I see with respect to sustainable development going forward in the future will be around the emerging middle class, the stresses that the 2.5 billion people in the world that want to be the next generation of middle class will put on the planet, on the energy requirements, on the mineral requirements, on the carbon and water requirements, and how do we find a way to actually allow these large, parts of the world's population to aspire to live better, but in a way which doesn't compromise future generations' ability to actually live at all on the planet. Because again, there's always been a concern about what is the ultimate carrying capacity of the planet. So far, technology has done a good job of actually extending those boundaries. Technology will have to continue to play a part of it, but we may have to start making some trade-offs down the road, and I think that will lead to very large ethical issues. It will lead to complex business challenges, and I think the most successful business leader in the future will properly recognize that and properly find a way of navigating through, and that will lead to, I think, not only a sort of a feel-good success, but it should lead to commercial success. As I reflect on how the world will adapt to these 2.5 billion people who are aspiring to actually consume more resources, consume more energy, that the industry, the mining industry and the extractive industry will have to be looking to new territories. And I've always thought that means the next mountain range or to the next remote country. But I've been fascinated just in the past 2 to 5 years with the emerging technologies for quite unconventional sources of mineral extraction. 5 years ago, I remember someone was pitching an underwater, deep water mineral exploration program, and I said to him, in my lifetime, I don't think it would ever pan out. It would ever make sense to do so. And in that short 5 years, you've seen such an advance in undersea excavation technologies led by the oil industry, and you've also seen so much pressure put on terrestrial mining projects that now I'd say maybe in the next 5 to 10 years, there may be opportunities in something that just 5 years ago I thought would never have been seen in my lifetime. Equally, who would have thought 2 years ago that people have been talking about space mining? And now all of a sudden you have at least 3 different programs that are sort of pitching money at space mining. And again, I would never have thought that was in my grandkids' lifetime. But you have people today putting serious money behind it. So, people will always be curious. Venture capital will always seek out risky propositions, and again, that's going to be part of this technical solution to meeting ultimately society's needs.